Good morning. This is the last episode of 5, and today we are going to do surface chain crochet. I'm going to show you two sort of, shall we say, methods. The one is where this heart, for instance, if I want to put this heart on the square and I want to apply the surface chain crochet beforehand, how I'm going to do it. So this one I'm going to show you. But then what happens if you've already applied a heart to a square and it's in your blanket, or just before, you've laid it out and you decide then to add some surface chain crochet. What are you going to do here? So let's just do that. So let's start with the first one. Okay, you're going to need your 4mm hook. For the surface chain crochet, I am on my 4mm hook, because I'm working on the surface of my square that was done in 4mm hook. So it needs to be the same thickness. Scissors and a yarn needle, of course. So let's just move that to one side. I have in this lovely little heart, purple, it was made with a variegated, and I would like to put some orange and some of this blue and a little orange and light blue and a little purple stripe. Just maybe if I put the heart like this little stripes must be running here, or maybe running there. Okay, so let's just decide on that. Let's say the first little stripe will run here. Then, and it should be what? Should it be the orange? I think it should be the orange. It's going to pick up the orange lovely. So this is what I'm going to do. This is what I've done all along, and it works. For this square that we've been creating, if I want to do surface crochet on here, I take this much yarn, like this. I make a sort of big loop, one big loop, and another big loop. 2 big loops, and then I cut it off. See, like that. And that should be enough. So now I'm not starting with a slip knot as I start most things. I am just holding the yarn in my hand. And of course, now once the square is completed, any side can be the right side. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to start. Let's bring it close up. Let's just lay the heart down again. Where do I want it to be? Say I want it to run here in that row. Not row, in those little, it's around the post. If you turn it, you can see that this is the single crochet, no, the half double crochet posts. That's the top of the stitch. See, so this is the around, I'm going to work around the single crochet post. I think this light might be a bit too bright. Let me just move it this way. Okay, and here we go. Little piece in the one hand. I'm going to pick it up on the wrong side. Pull it through. Oh, and it helps. It does help if my hook faces me. Like that. Pick it up. Pull it through. Now I'm going to push my hook through on this side, and on this side I will yarn over and pull it through and pull it through, forming a chain. In the next little, round the next little post, push it through, yarn over on this side, pull it through and pull it through, making a beautiful little chain. And just, if it's a bit tight, loosen it up a bit. It mustn't pull. This side, yarn over on this side, You don't have to flip it all the time, because once you get going, you don't need to look. You can feel on the other side what you're doing with your fingers. See, this is how we're going to do it. So I'm now just going to do it like this. On the other side, I'm yarn over. But that's the beauty of working with a little square in your hand. And this is how you're going to work with it on your lap. Just loosen it up a bit if it's too tight. Like this. If you're struggling, turn the square. But now you've got a blanket, then you need to flip the blanket. Which is why it's easier if you do all these little things while it is still squares. There we go. This is turning out lovely. I really enjoyed doing this surface chain crochet. Now I know, some of you can do this better than I can. Absolutely. And more beautiful patterns, beautiful everything. But this is what I can manage, and this is what I used in my blanket. Just the chain surface crochet in the little rows. Like this. There we go, there's the last one. And just made it. Maybe I shouldn't have left such a long tail on this end, hey? Like that. And I can go over like that to the end and pull it through like that. And then we are going to work it in. See. Now, say that's the orange one. Now let's say, oh my goodness, it looks like it is right on that little orange. Let me move it up a little bit, or like this. Yes. Now a little green stripe and a little purple stripe. I want the purple stripe to be above it. So can you see, if you hold it up into the, maybe with a light from behind, that this is obviously upside down because this is how it was crocheted. When you crochet the half double crochet, that's the top of the half double crochet. There's a half double crochet in the top of the half double crochet. You see, and a half double crochet in the top. But you can work through the half double crochets like we've done now, and you can work in the top, which means you can work rows right next to each other. Stripes, little stripes. And remember that we have a border. This might look like it didn't start right at the start, but remember that this part is going to be taken up with the assembly of the blanket. When you assemble, you're going to push your hook through this half double crochet around the post, and you're going to work it in. So this will land on the side of the blanket. And that first row, not row, but those stitches there are definitely going to be worked in. So I wouldn't go closer than the last row and closer than this. It's like a little margin that you leave around the sides. Okay, so I'm going to just start another color, and I'm going to pick that. Well, let's see if I pick this very dark. If it's too dark, it looks very dark on the camera. This doesn't look so dark on the camera, but you can see this is more this is a dark purple, and it will look lovely on this. There you go. You see there, you see the color. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. Now let's do this again. I want to make a row, and I take it, and I'm going to just flip it around my hand in 2 big loops. You get to learn later on how much you need. 2 big loops and maybe just a little bit, and I won't start with my tail so long this time. There we go. Let me just do another one. So pick it up, and I want to be right next to, let's, oh yes, you know, this is the way it was crocheted, so this is the top of the stitches, so I want to work there in the top of those stitches. Okay, so I have my little loop in my hand on the one hand, and on the other hand and there we go. I'm putting my hook through the first one, grabbing yarn, don't leave such a long end, grabbing yarn, pull through, little loose, do not do this too tight, pull through, yarn over on this side, and just pull through, push through the next opening, yarn over on this side, pull it through and pull it through. It's like a slip stitch, but it's a chain. It looks like a chain. But I'm sorry for knocking the camera. On the surface you can see clearly it looks like a chain. Beautiful. Okay, so let me continue with this one, and then I see you at the end of this one. So let me show you how I'm ending off, because now once you pick up speed, this becomes so much fun. Yarn over again, come through, and then just, there you go, there you go. Lovely, 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 but that purple is too dark to see. Now let's see, I want to take this color. It's not the same yarn because this was a variegated, but it's close. You can see how close. And I want to put an extra little stripe there like that, because I want it to pick that up. So again, I'm just going to use my little method of 2 big loops and a bit. That seems to work very well. And then I just want to show you. Now let me see, do we want that on top, or do we want that right through there? I think on top, and I might even put one lower down. But now, this is the way from bottom up, this is how the square was made. So I'm going to pick, if you want to pick right next to it, I'm going to pick the body of that, the post, working around the half double crochet posts. So that's where I'm putting in my hook and holding it in my left hand, yarn over, pull through, and once you get going with this, it is quite addictive. Just pull the little strand so that it's tight, and yarn over on this side like I've showed you. And I need to turn my hook a little bit, so I need to make sure I'm not skipping any. There we go, like this. Pull, pull, pull a bit. Sometimes it comes out a bit tight, or it's my responsibility to make sure that it's not too loose or too tight, leaning, skew. Beautiful. Because it's a little square, you can just work it. Hold it beautifully in your hands and maneuver. Maneuverability here is like driving with a little car. You can park anywhere, hey? Beautiful. And this is how you just play around. That is what I love about it. You're creating. you are creating. This goes faster off camera, I can assure you. It's just going slow on camera because I'm showing you how I do it. Come, come, come. There you go. And you can imagine if I used my 3mm needle, hook, not needle, then you need, I think the surface crochet would look better the bulkier this yarn is. So it must at least be the same bulkiness, the same weight, or heavier. Like that. Oh, and it is already cut. I must remember that it's already cut. And okay, now I'm just going to show you how I work this in. Isn't that gorgeous? We've just created that. This is how I work it in. Look what it looks like at the back. That is so neat. Super neat. Okay, I'm taking my light blue yarn. Now obviously, if you have a little bit of a tail, that is the best. Let's just come close. I just do this. I want to try and take one surface piece of the purple, lavender, and the stitch. Right? That's what I want. Come on, like this. Come on, come on. So, a little bit, you can take a piece of that. Just the top stitch because you don't want it to show on that side. I don't want it to show on that side. But I want it to be secure. And I don't want it to work just through the light blue because I think it might pull the stitch on the other side, the chain stitch, tighter. And I don't want it to be tighter. You know, like a weight pulling it down. I don't know, that's my thinking. You can leave it like that because obviously you've worked it in, or you can just, now I'm just going to take the light blue and you can, I'm just going to go 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3 stitches that I've worked like that. I don't want it to be bulky. Don't be bulky. Don't be bulky. There you go. Snip. That one is worked in. And that's what I'm going to do for this one and this one and these 3. And then I'll see you here again. This is where I am. I've worked it all in, so now our beautiful straight lines at the back doesn't look so beautiful straight because we've got little pieces that's worked in, but it has to be worked in. There we go. Now place our little heart there where it must be, and that is where I will stitch it onto this square, and then you will see it in the blanket. And I will stitch it the way that I've shown you how to stitch the first flower applique that we did, which is the same way, you know, I work in the back loop, or I decide to take both loops and put my needle through, and then grab a little bit of yarn like that, just underneath, go up again through the 2 loops, down, and there you go. You know, the way that I showed you with the flower applique. And there you go. So this is the end result of this one, where you apply the heart or the flower or whatever afterwards. But now, as I said, what if you made a square like this with a heart and you decide afterwards, you know what? I think this square needs something else. It needs a bit more. And I want to add a little stripe to pick up the orange and a little stripe to pick up the green, just to give it a bit more life. So this is what we're going to do. And this square, let me just see, because this is how we worked. Remember, our end was always on our right hand side, this little end also, so that both ends were on the right hand side, and that's how you knew you had the right amount of rows. Because if this end one ended that side, you know for sure that's not right, because there had to be 15 rows. Okay, so this is what I did. It's a little bit more trouble, shall we say trouble, and I'm not going to use as much yarn, but not where is my scissors? Yes, but not too little either. We don't want to run out. And I've tried this more than one way, so the way I'm going to show you is the way that I find works best. So let's put a little orange stripe through here. Let's just start there. Okay, now we're going to do the same way we've just done. Let's come closer. I'm putting my hook through, grabbing yarn, pulling it through, nice and loose, not too tight. Through, grab it through, and you're basically making a slip stitch, which then looks like a chain. Push through again, grab yarn on the other side, and we know by now how to do it, and this will just be nice and tight like that. Now some of the flowers or whatever were not done exactly the same, like that. There we go. Wait, push through, and then I'm just going to try and get another one there, sort of under the heart, right? Yarn over on the other side just like normal, and I'm going to bring through a chain like this, but then I'm going to take my hook, and on the wrong side I'm going to push it through exactly there where I came out. Right, now I'm going to take that stitch, come on, cooperate, like that, you see, and I'm going to put it around the hook, and I'm just going to pull it through to the wrong side, just like that. Can you see what happened there? Now what happens on this side? On this side you're now left with a little loop, and all I'm going to do is put my hook through, grab that yarn and pull through, and lightly, and I'm going to put my nail there, lightly tighten it, because you just want to tighten it, and then when you work it in, you work it back. Oh, I mean, anywhere you want to, but I wanted to try and keep it neat and work it in that way. So now let's turn back. That is what happened. Now when I'm going to do this side, I'm actually going to start on this end. Now this is where I need to see closely what I've done. I did not work into those holes. I worked around the body of a post, and it was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the row I need to do. I tell you, you can make a mistake and then you've got to pull it out again. Nobody likes that. So let's just do that. And it's just 1 and 2. Rather a little bit too much yarn than too little. Okay, let's do it now. I'm going to do it from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm supposed to work around the body of the post, not into the little loops. Let's just check again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 5th row, and I've worked around the body of the half double crochets. So I need to do the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work around the body of the half double crochets. Yes, and if you just do the same thing, it should turn out correct. Come on, come on, come on, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my hook in there. There you go. Remember, we do have a margin, fortunately. And there we go. Hook the yarn, pull through, and work around the body. This is easy. It looks easy. But if you don't pay attention, you can easily make a mistake. And you don't know, why did this end up skew? You might have just put one stitch in the wrong little gap. Okay, now here we come into this. There we go. Now I'm going to go around that body, pushing through. Try not to knock the camera. Pull it through, pull it through, and it looks like I've gone too far. Can you see? But I'm going to now leave it like that. Take my hook and come around from the bottom up. From the bottom up. And I'm going to put that loop around my hook, and I'm supposed to pull it through, just pull it through to the other side, because that's where it belongs now, because it's supposed to look like it went under this heart. See, like that. There's your little loop. All you do is, you can just maneuver it any which way you want, so that you're going to pull this through, and then just tighten it. Just tighten it. So this is what it looks like at the back, because this is where your heart is. There. I can feel it on this side. There it comes. There it comes. There, there. If I hold it up, you can see where there are no gaps there. And on this side, this is what it looks like. You see now, that one must not be that tight. So I'm just going to loosen it up a bit. Because if it's too tight, it will look like it was pulled in there. And you don't want that. You want it to look like it was just one continuous row. There we go. Now I can add a green one. And I can add a green one right below that one, which is what I'd like to do. So I'm not sure if you actually want to see me do this. And now remember, this yarn that I'm using now, maybe I don't have to cut it. Maybe I can just start with this. This is it's a double knit, but look at this compared to this. Or does it look the same? To me, the green feels thinner. It feels thinner. Look, if you pull it like this, but maybe if you pull that one too. No, this one, the orange is definitely, it's the Charity double knit, and this is Kartopu double knit, which is a thinner double knit, if I can put it like that. But anyway, never mind. Let's do this. I now want to work this one in the 1, 2, 3, 4, the top of that stitch. So let's do that. Now you see, now becomes the battle of all the ends out of the way. So just keep the ends out of the way. You can work the ends in as you go, then you don't have this. It didn't bother me too much. There we go. And then I grab it. Now, grab the yarn on the wrong side, pull it through. Now this is going to be an example to you of what if the yarn is thinner than the yarn used in the square. Look, like that. Let me just get these out of the way, grab hold of my green only. And it has happened to me that I would pull up another color easily if you get, and then you just drop it again. Now this is the green, and it's going, this is a thinner green. So to me, I can see on the square that I'm working with, come on, with a thinner yarn. Definitely. It's as if it doesn't cover as much or doesn't stand out as much. Don't know how you want to put it. And go sort of under that, push sort of under that heart. Grab yarn, bring it through on the other side like this. And now take my hook, go, and there exactly where I put it in, I'm going to bring it out because I want to take this little stitch and pull it through, just pull it through to the wrong side so that it's lying on the correct side, if that sounds right. See, like that. That looks right. Now, oh yes, and I need to cut it. Oh wait, there we go. First, now cut it. And like this. And just slightly pull it tight. Not too tight, because if you pull it too tight, where's my needle now? There we go. If you pull it too tight, can you see what happens? That last stitch becomes, instead of this V, it becomes like a little line. You don't want that. You want your V to show. You want a V there, a nice fluffy V. That's why you shouldn't pull too tight. See? Now we're going to do it from this side to that side. So let's do that. Grab a little bit of yarn. And this time I'm going to cut it again because cutting it works better. I've just now I didn't cut it, and I was used to cutting a little strand and working with this strand. Okay, so now let's do this. First put the hook where it needs to go. Grab the yarn, pull through. Then, hey. Once I've done that, I'm letting go of that. And now I'm just going to focus on putting it through and pulling it through. And then just pulling the first one. I can always puff out the first stitch a bit again. Pushing it through the correct gap. There we go. I can tell you that I had a lot of fun with this surface chain crochet. It is really, once you get going, and obviously it's easier if you do it on your lap. Now, our last one. So you're going to try and come as close to the heart as you can. Try and even go a little bit under the heart if you can. There we go. Where is my next stitch? It's in there. So I'm going to try and go in there. Oh. Try is the best buy, they say. Well, that is how it's going to be now. Try is the best buy. Put my hook on the other side again, from the wrong side up. you know. And if you want to on this stage put a smaller, use a smaller hook, because I work this hard in good and proper. There you go. Come on, little heart. Don't pull tight. I don't want anything here to pull tight. So I'm going to pull the stitch just through like this, so it doesn't unravel, but not too tight, just like that little. Then go to the right side and make sure like that V is a V and not pulled straight. Must be a little V. It must fluff out into a V, because it's supposed to look like it was just worked as a stripe. So now let's hold it further away. There we go. So this is the kind of things that you can do. You can put a heart on a flower and then decide to put some stripes on. And that is what I did. So now, you know the way that I work things in. Wow, this is a long strand. I don't need such a long strand. I'm just going to show you one, and that will be the end, like that. This is where I am, and I just did this through just a first one, because I don't want it like that. Lightly, lightly. Don't pull. I don't want the orange to pull. Just firm, not pulling tight. Like that. And I can just put this through. Neatly worked in, and I will now work in all the other ends. That is our one heart here, and then this is our other little heart here, and I am now going to show you all the other examples of where I've put stripes. So in the slideshow I'm going to show you now. Look out for the little stripes, whether it is at the bottom of something, or whether it is around something, or just stripy. There were squares that I had. Let me just grab this one square, like this one, where I would, for instance, take this color and put two stripes there, and then take this color and put two stripes on this. So it sort of blended the two colors. But there are squares where I just left it to two colors, you know. So anyway, that is the end of this, what do you call it, series. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you want to receive more videos, then hit that notification bell. And I hope that you had as much fun making your blanket as I had making my blanket. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I appreciate every one of my crochet family. Thank you and goodbye.